Hello, my name is Randy Dobson. I'm an instructor here in the Houston, Texas area, and this video will be covering some AutoCAD options that a user can set certain things the way they want it to look. I've had several students asking me about this, and I've never done a video on it, so I kind of want to cover some basic things. Uh, because you do want to get a drawing set up the way that you want to use it. As you see here, I've got mine as a black background, but if I go down here to layout and click on layout, you will see, if it'll go, there we go. You'll see that you've got the grayed background. You've got this black here, and I want to tell you that, and I'm going to go to options. I'm typing options in right here. It's just options by itself. Watch out you don't get something else. Options. And I want to set it up the way that y'all are probably looking at it. So kind of bear with me for a second. Let me kind of fix it back. What y'all are probably looking at is this right here, where it's the white background. And I don't like the white, I like the black. Okay, when you go to model space, as you can see, it's black. And then here you've got the shadow area, you've got the white. This is the printing area, and the dash line is the limits of the printing. That's just an imaginary line. It's set when you set your page layout, when you put in your title block, such as it is. And just let me try to do that real quick. I'm going to xref in. Let me see if I can find one real quick. Uh, if I can go and get a title block, hopefully I can find one. Doesn't look like I want to find it right away. Nope. I was going to try to find one to put in here, and it doesn't look like. Let me keep going here and see if maybe there's something. Nope. I was hoping I would find a title block that I've done. Let me look here, just for grins. Um, oh, here's one. It's just a generic title block. Let me just double click on that, and I'm going to bring it in at 00. So I uncheck that, and hopefully it should fall right on that, which it does. Let me hit OK. So as you can see, this is the title block that I've created, that my students usually use. And right here, you can't see it. I'll kind of move it off to the side. See, it's right over that dash line. So I've set it up for this, so the student doesn't have to mess with it. Now, if you go in and change your plotting, all this white area will change. Now, I will tell you personally, I don't show any of this, and I'm going to show you why. And I've had a couple students say, well, it's not showing up correctly. And it sometimes can cause problems when you don't need to know about it. For most of the versions of AutoCAD, you can just type in options like I did. Up here at the big red A at the left, if you go all the way down, it's there. Believe it or not, and I'll see if it's still here, we used to have to type in preferences. That still works. I like that. But you can type in options. Okay. Files, until you become experienced, do not touch these, because you can really mess up the efficiency and how your AutoCAD works. We're going to go with display. That's a big thing here. You're going to go to display. Here is your colors. Now, for the beginner to intermediate AutoCAD person, you go to colors. You've got 2D model space, which is this right down here in the bottom left. Model space and sheet layout is your layout right here. Okay, all the other gets into 3D, parallel, perspective, block editor, and I don't even want you to look at that, and none of this. Again, this is more for the advanced, experienced person. So in my case, I always have the 2D model space is black, and then I also make the sheet index black. I guess it's easier on my eyes for having the black background. Now, This top one, obviously, I want to leave on because it shows all my layouts, but I uncheck everything else, hit OK. Now, when you look at this title block, if that shading was over here, you would never know it. Okay. So sometimes it can be a distraction. That's the word I was trying to think of. So if we go back to options, and once you do that in your AutoCAD, it is set. A big thing to remember, and I want you all to remember that when you go in here and change something, you can't hit undo. Undo is for commands in AutoCAD, not settings. I can sit here and do undo all day long, and it will still stay black. Okay. So this is all for the, see as it says, the layout elements. This is your layouts. This controls the layout elements. And this handles your colors. The crosshair size. If you notice on mine, my crosshairs go across the whole page. I can't really point to it, but you can see it. Whereas some people, I'm going to enter to open that back up again, you may have something that looks like this. Okay? Now, the reason that I like the crosshairs is if I ever needed to grab something, I'm going to change mine back. If I wanted to say, make this word college name line up with this line right here, I could just go move. Where's my move at? Well, let me do that one here. Move. Oh, I'm sorry, it's an XREF. I can't do it. But as you can see, there's a line right here. I could move this down, and with my crosshairs over, I can line it up. So it's again, it's a personal preference. Take it or leave it. Everybody does it different. Is there a right or wrong way? Yes, but whichever way you want to do it is the right way. So don't ever let anybody say you're doing something wrong with a setting. It's the way that you are. Just like when you get in your car, you have your seat set, you have the tilt steering wheel set, you have the mirror set, you have the radio station set. Somebody that's 6 inches taller than you gets in your car, obviously all your settings are wrong to them. But know that your own settings are the way that you want to do it. So I'm going to go back to options again, typing in options. And you've got different things besides the display, the open and save. Now this is very important. You know that if you have the option, I'm in 2018, I can save to 2013. Or I can save to a 2018 drawing. What does that mean? That if you have anything older than 2018, you can't open it. Okay. So typically, you'll find out from your client or your teacher, whomever, what do I need to save it down to? I mean, you can go all the way back down to release 14, which I used back in the 90s. You don't ever want to go that far just because you start losing some things. Just like here, if you've done a table and you can go back to 2007, you can't use that table because it wasn't invented in that version of AutoCAD. So whenever you can set this to where it's automatic, like here, if I set it to 2010, I hit OK. If I go to save, and I'm just going to type in save, you will see that it's already set to 2010. Now, I can change that if I want. I could change it to 2018, and we'll just call this junk, for lack of a better term. Oh, already one there. That's okay. But now, if I go to save again, what's going to happen? See, it's still saved here, but if you go to options, it's because it's still on there. It will default back to this. So if you get out of this drawing, because it's already saved it to 2010, if I get out of this drawing, well, let me just change it to 2014. Hit OK, and let's just save that. And I go to start a new drawing. Hopefully it won't prove me wrong. I'm going to type options. And there it is, still set to 14, even though I closed down my AutoCAD drawing session. So you have to be mindful of that. You may be working on 2018 at home and your office, you may have a 2013 or 2010. You need to make sure you're saving down to it. Ask your client whenever you go to work somewhere. If they say send me files, say what version would you like it in. It saves a headache. It shows you're being very proactive. Plot and publish gets into the plotting a little bit, but there's not much there. System, user preferences, drafting, with the aperture size, like when you go to select something to erase, you can make it bigger or smaller. I mean, I can make it like this when I go to erase or pick. The box would be larger. Let me get back to options here. Actually, we'll change that one up there. So again, don't change anything unless you're comfortable with it, because again, what I tell students is if you decide to go into this, get your phone and take a picture of it. Take a picture of it, each tab, take a picture of it before you change. That way you can say, okay, I can't remember which ones I checked, go back to your picture. Okay. In the old days, we used to have to mark this all down because we didn't have cameras with phones on them, and if you didn't have a camera around, you couldn't take a picture. But these are more advanced settings. Really, for you, you need to just stay in the display and the open and save a little bit here with this version. Okay, but understand that whichever way you want to go with it, just like here, if I check these all back on and make the color white, if that works for you, then that is fine. Uh, when I open it on my end, it will be whatever I've got set. Here's the white. So I don't, again, I don't like to use the white, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to change because again, when you send the drawing, I see it with the black background. So hopefully this helps you out a little bit on the settings. Again, you can either type in options. You can come up here to the big red A down here and go to options. Like I said, if you really want to type, you can just type in preferences, which is way old. And this gets you to where you want to set and change some things around. But again, if you decide to mess with this, even if you go to these colors, take a picture of it. It is something that I cannot help you with remotely. If you come and say I've got lines showing up that I'm not sure why, I don't know what your settings are. As long as you keep them to the default settings, then I know. But if you come up here and adjust things, then I wouldn't have any idea about that. So if you have any more questions, shoot me an email, and that concludes this video. Thank you.